I knew this was coming up on the calendar. Last year we scrimmaged BG, went really well. We got a lot out of it. The year before, I think we practiced on Thursday. We scrimmaged on Thursday. I didn't like it because it kind of only gave us a day to kind of then prepare for what we wanted to do for the next team, St. Thomas, that we were going to play. So this year we said, you know what? Let's just go. Let's keep the normal routine. Everybody else is playing on Wednesday. Let's scrimmage on Wednesday. We'll send our assistant coaches to go scout. I'll have the game film. We'll be able to watch, do it, anything, and then it gives us 2 days to do it. Yesterday it couldn't have gone any better for us than it did. The guys played really well. We played BG tough. They played us tough. And I think they came away with a lot of confidence, knowing that, again, if they attack, if they dominate the different phases of the game, they can play with anybody. And so that's kind of the mind. It was a great springboard into what we want to do for Saturday. It got them back, got their legs underneath them. I think we're going to have great 2 days of practice and just come out ready and raring to go on Saturday.
I definitely think part of the thing that's going to help us so much is we played so well yesterday. We played a pretty close game with them. Although they weren't playing as hard as they would for a real game, it's still something that we can strive for, to play at their level. I know we're still a little below them, but trying to push our play up to their level not only would help us if we were in Division 1 going into the playoffs, but because we're in Division 2, if we can play at their level, then we kind of feel that we're kind of unstoppable in Division 2.
I thought it was pretty important. I mean, at first, we were wondering, who we were going to scrimmage, and then heads it up with BG, and we're like, wow, it's a good chance for us, to go out there, prove ourselves, see if we can run with the big boys. But, we played really well yesterday. I think it was 10-6 when everybody kind of, stopped subbing and stuff like that, which was important, even though we lost, it was a close game. We saw a lot of great things out there. A lot of us are friends with kids on BG through Tomahawks and stuff like that. So it's always fun to, go out there, play with your friends, play against them. But, I think we got a lot out of that game. Especially it's important when there's a 2-week break like that, like you said, to get some competition against other guys.
Yeah, BG's arguably the top team in the state, and it was great to scrimmage that talent level. Kind of shows to us that we're right there. Like, we weren't far off. It was pretty. I mean, they did beat us, but it wasn't a blowout. It was a pretty close game. We were able to play with them, and it shows that when we play our best, we can play with anyone.
Yeah, it gives us. I think at most it gave us confidence, because I think some of the kids came into yesterday thinking we were going to get killed. Like, oh, this is such a good Division 1 team, like, known to be the best team in the state for the past, like, 8 years or so. But we were playing with them. I mean, their Coach Cameron after the game said, like, we scored 5 or 6 goals when all their starters of varsity kids were still playing. And that's the most goals they've given up since, like, Bedford and Pinkerton. So I think it gives us the confidence that we can play with anybody, and we're right there. We can play with those teams. So going into the playoffs, where it seems like everybody steps up to play you, if we just have that mindset of how we played against BG, we can step up even further, then I don't think anybody's even be able to come close to us, to be honest.
Yeah, it helps us a lot playing against higher competition right before the playoffs. For some teams, it would be kind of like a down game, like if you lost to BG by like 10+ goals, and it would have a bad effect on us for our postseason. But because we played them so close, I think it'll help us elevate our play to a whole nother level on Saturday and bring our best game against St. Thomas.
Yeah, I think that's important, because obviously, like, we're doing man up and man down against them. They're just another level. They're just above us, and I think we realize that we may be able to get to that level, but for the playoffs, we'll have to maybe get to that level, and like, we had to work to that level. And I think it was important for us to see that there is a next level, because for the season we could have got complacent and just stayed at the level we're at, which we realize there's a next level we can get to, and there's the next level we can get to.
Oh, super anxious. I mean, the entire team is kind of feeling it. We've been waiting for this game, since the beginning of the season, really. But But yeah, we're psyched to get out there, especially since yesterday we played a little scrimmage against BG, which was good, but we still didn't have that game, that playoff feel. And especially in practice, we're focused and we're going through the drills, but you can tell everybody's flying around and definitely focused on the next quarterfinal game against St. Thomas.
Oh, I definitely will. Before the game, I'll talk to all the players, especially the freshmen who weren't here last year, and just tell them, we can't really underestimate a team like this. It's a similar situation as last year. We beat them pretty easily in the regular season, but it's playoffs and everybody's playing to win. Everybody's playing their hardest, so we really need to come out and play our hardest, because if a team catches us on an off day, anything can happen. So we really need to make sure that we're on Saturday and play our hardest and play our best and hopefully get the W.
3 or 4 weeks ago, we started playing on paper and say, okay, this is potentially who we knew there were like 4 teams we could play. We were either going to play St. Thomas, Bow, Merrimack Valley, or John Stark, and that's pretty much the way the seedings went. And so, we had been doing a lot of homework on St. Thomas because we felt like, okay, if they're going to be in our draw, they're probably going to be the team that's going to emerge from that. So we've seen them play a bunch of times. We played them earlier in the year. Not going to be the same team that we saw earlier in the year. They've improved a lot. They've got some good players, but we feel really confident going into it. Our assistant coaches went and watched them yesterday, videotaped. They're scrappy. They're finding ways to win. They've won 2 games in a row by a goal, and I think their kids are playing with a lot of confidence, feeling like if they can keep it close, they're going to find a way to win. But I think we feel very confident too.
I think we have to move on from what happened last year, but also learn from it, saying that, okay, we can't come out slow. We have to come out firing. We can't let off the gas. Keep playing. We can learn from that, but this is a new team, new season this year, so I think we'll be prepared. We'll be ready. We'll be going ready to play.
Probably. Yeah, it'll get brought up. Coach and Cavin's probably say, remember what this team did to you last year. We beat them handily both times in the regular season, and we have to respect them, make sure it doesn't happen again. Well, that being said, it's a completely different team. I mean, they lost. Last year they had a very good player. He's not there anymore. But they really lack any offensive power or threat. So really I'm not worried at all. I think if we just be patient and play our game, we'll end up beating them pretty handily again. But I mean, like I said, you have to respect everybody, and that's why they play the game. So anything could happen. We've seen some already playoff upsets this year so far. So we're going to go into it ready and just wanting to win real bad.
I think it's important to think back last year and say, maybe we didn't respect them as much. They played really well. This is the playoffs, so one and done. So I think it's important for us to go out there and really get a great start to the game, something we didn't do last year. It's kind of our main goal this time. But St. Thomas is a very talented team, so we just got to go out there and play our best, and it could be our last game.
I think it helps a lot. I was talking to one of my assistants about that the other night, that it could be a much easier game. We could have, normally as a 1 seed, you would get a much nicer draw, and St. Thomas isn't. They're a good team, and they're going to come in and give us everything, but it does help in the fact that our kids will not be caught by surprise. They're going to be ready. They're going to be focused. Obviously, with it being almost a year to the date of Jill's sister passing away, there's an extra sense of, we want to go out and play really well. We've been talking about, we want to attack and we want to dominate the phases of the game, and I'm really excited to get to play this game on Saturday, because I think it's only going to prepare us more. If we're going to move on and win a state championship, this is going to help us to get in that mindset. It could be an easier game, but these guys will give us a good game, and if we can get by it and keep on moving, it's only going to help us down the road.
I would say probably it's always there every time you get the playoffs, regardless of what year you are. I mean, it's win or go home, so it's that extra motivation, and you just know that if you don't go out there and execute, your season's over. And I mean, I've had a lot of fun this year. We've all had fun. I don't think anyone wants this to end until June 11th. I think that's what everybody's goals were from day one, and that it's win or go home. So it's obviously amped up now that it's the playoffs, so we got to go out there and just do the best we can to win.
I don't really think about it until we're really in the game. Like last year, we got ourselves into a situation that I almost got to the level where I'm like, the season's over, this is the end. But I think once you get into that situation in a game, that's the only time that I'll be like, this is our last game. Because I know that if we play at our highest level, we will win the championship.
I think about it a little bit, just in the sense, maybe a little bit more motivation, that you never know when it's going to be your last game. Look back at last year. I don't think we fully expected, to win in overtime last year. So it's definitely important for us to focus on that and say, we got to give it our best every single time because you never know, just like last year. So I think, in a sense, it's more motivational rather than anything else.
I try not to think about it. I try to take it day to day. I mean, I'm expecting to come out Saturday, play well, and win Saturday, and play to next Wednesday. But we also have to play every day. We have to have a hard practice today, hard practice tomorrow, and show up Saturday to play. And we just can't take any day for advantage because, maybe we don't play well Saturday. Maybe it's the last game Saturday. Hope not, but could be.
Joe Costa's sister, we love you. Joe, we love you. Yeah, Amy. Boys on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Boys, bring it up on Joe.
I would say when I believe they scored that second goal to make it 8-6, I was like, this seems very familiar, and we were on the good end last time, and we're on the wrong end now. So I think right when they scored it was 8-6, and there's still a lot of time left on the clock. It was like, wow, like we really have to step up right now. You know, we're only up by 2, and they have the ball, and this is not a good situation for us. You know, with the momentum that they had, I think maybe you know, I think I did get a couple little flashbacks to last year.
Like the entire game, we talked about this at our meeting last night with Coach Hetler. It just felt uncomfortable and unstable the entire game, and we couldn't really figure out why. We kind of looked at different areas, like were we not confident enough coming into the game? Did we not go hard enough in warm-ups? But at this point, it did get very scary with like 2 minutes left, and it was 8-6. But our defense stood tall. We made the stops, and our offense held the ball. And in the playoffs, a win is a win. So we're moving on to the next round, and we're really excited.
I think definitely we got a little nervous, and I think we kind of cracked under the pressure a little bit. We knew we had the lead, and I think maybe we started stalling the ball too early. Maybe we tried to move, like just kind of get it around too early. But yeah, we definitely were nervous. We came into the game, and I think some of maybe the upperclassmen didn't set the tone as well as we could have with the underclassmen, get as fired up as we could have. Like the Portsmouth game, we were all fired up for warm-ups, and I think the St. Thomas game, we weren't as much like that. In the St. Thomas game, we had like the 3 or 4 goal lead one time, and we kind of they scored once, and we were still putting our heads down. We're still up by 2 or 3. It's like, guys, we don't need to put our heads down. We're still up by 2 or 3. And I think that we kind of put too much pressure on ourselves sometimes, and I think that led to us. We played the game well. We finished. We won. That's all that matters. We moved on. But there's definitely stuff we could learn and improve from that game.
And they actually did end up scoring first, and then we scored right after that, and then we got to 4-1, and I was like, all right, this is gonna break open, but then it just didn't. And I guess that's just because it's the playoffs. No team is gonna roll over and die, and I think that's just something that we have to accept. And I think we handled it pretty well, not like better than we did against Concord. Like against Concord, we saw a team that was really willing to fight, and they gave us some adversity, and they didn't quit, and we couldn't handle it. I think to see Saturday, we obviously didn't have our best game, but it shows how we've grown as a team. We are able to face a little bit of adversity and still get the win, even though we didn't really play our best.
The whole time, it just felt like the game was in control, but like it hadn't been broken open, and it certainly wasn't over, especially when they did all of a sudden score 2 goals to make it a 2-goal game with that much time left. And I think when I reflect back on it, I think I started thinking about we have experience. We've got 6 seniors, but then we're counting on a freshman and a sophomore to attack. We have a freshman LSM. We have a freshman goaltender. Our second line consists of 2 sophomores and a freshman. So there's a lot of younger kids that necessarily haven't been in that position before that did make some mistakes at the end there, and it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Would I have liked to have won by more? Sure, but I think it was a good experience for these guys, especially with Wednesday coming up, playing under the lights, the crowd, every goal, people are going to be cheering. It's going to get, it's going to get intense. So to have kind of that experience, luckily we were able to work through that. Some of the upperclassmen did step up, and now they've got that experience. So yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, we felt like we were. It felt more like a 10-4 game instead of an 8-6, but it wasn't. So